All right. Robin Reed here with Larry Wilson, who just completed his coaching and went through the 3 sessions: deprogram, foundations, and reprogram. And Larry, you've been out for, I mean, you did it about 2 months ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we started 2 months ago.
Yeah. So talk to us about, kind of how you came in. Like what made you say, I got to do what first, like what was the problem? Like I got to do something.
It started with almost I have a lot of things in my life that were right.
Hmm.
Um, but I just couldn't get any traction on a relationship. And I was like, I know I'm better than this. I know that I deserve a relationship. And so what's the problem? And I was searching, and for some reason, I don't know if it was God, universe, source, whatever it is, we crossed paths.
Hmm. And what made you decide
And
to, what made you
I made
decide
the
to,
decision that I'm going to show up for me.
mm,
I'm going to spend the money for me. This is about me, because the problem with the relationships wasn't the relationships. The problem was in me. And
right.
until I fixed that, there was never going to be a relationship that really worked. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, amazing. And you and I, you've been sharing with me a few things that you kind of went through some breakdowns too, like in it.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
text me and you're like, having a rough day, inner child. Speak to some of that too.
I had to reconnect with myself. I through meditation, journaling, and that's one of the things I want to thank you for is the coaching, the self-sabotage, all of those things that the world and television and government and everything had put inside of me that were frankly just bullshit.
Mm.
All they were doing was keeping me from reaching my potential. And then, as you and I have discussed a few times, the evil in the world, whatever you want to call it, does not want this work done, does not want men to step up for themselves, for their families, for their communities, for their countries, for their world.
Yeah. And so you worked through these breakdowns, you found some breakthroughs, and we've had several conversations since in coaching, you did a 6K, run,
10K.
10K, you back into your body, you're feeling strong, you're 62.
That's correct.
Um, and you're experiencing some things since coaching. Talk about some of that. What's been kind of happening for you? Some miracles, really.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of miracles from a career standpoint. I've had a miracle in my family. I have a daughter who's alcoholic, and I've been I've been struggling with this for years, and all of a sudden, because of our interactions and because of me standing up for myself and me standing up for her, she came to me and said, Dad, I want to fix this.
Mm.
I broke down. Yeah, I
It's
broke
huge.
down.
That's huge. Might have saved her
She
life.
is current. She is currently in rehab. She saved her own life.
Yeah.
But once again, man, it's the ripple effects. Each man that stands up for himself, stands up for his family, stands up for his community, stands up for his country, stands up for the world. There's a ripple effect out there that it just goes on and on and on and on. And I've found my purpose basically in the last 2 months, in that I don't know that I want to do what you do. I want to do it on a community level where literally I get men in and I encourage them. I can't. No one can do no. All the work is internal, Robin. You know that. It's
Yeah.
every man for himself. But so many men don't even know how to get started. So I mean, if I can take a man and encourage him to receive your coaching, if I can take a man and encourage him to do the work, to do the inner work, to meditate, to rid himself of the self-sabotage, uh, then we can literally change the world.
Yeah.
Literally, one
Yeah.
one man at a time, one family at a time, one community at a time.
I love it. You were telling me also that your employer really saw you and kind of stood up to keep you.
Absolutely. Once again, I mean, what I do is I'm a pipeline inspector slash project manager. I've been doing it for off and on for 20 years, and I've gone through a transition. Um, we work through what's called construction managers for the company. Most of my work is through Target Resources out of Houston, Texas, and so we'd gone through this progression. And over the last, well, about probably 10 weeks ago, they hired a guy come in here that I had no background with.
Mm.
None whatsoever, no relationships whatsoever. So I was concerned. I was anxious about what was going to happen with that.
Mhm.
And just in the last week, just because of who I am, that's showing up for myself, he came to me. We'd had a couple of meetings, but we had a really good meeting last Friday. And he just basically said, everybody says I need to use you. I feel like I need to use you. I'm going to use you more than you've been used the last 10 years. We're going to put you to work.
Goodness.
And I truly believe that that was standing up for myself, saying, this is my self worth.
Mm. I love
Appreciate
it.
that about
Love it. What would you say to any man who's really in the breakdown and is in this process of like, should I do this? Who is this guy on Instagram? Whatever.
me. Yeah.
What would you
Yeah.
say to him
Same
to,
questions that I had. Absolutely. Same questions. Why do I need to spend my hard earned money to pay this guy that I've never met?
yeah, why not more therapy or more church or more
Sure.
reading books or
Sure.
working out more?
Sure.
I get a lot of guys that are like, I'm just doing all this stuff, trying to fix myself. Why would they do this?
Uh, I think I told you the day that I decided to spend the money on the coaching, it literally flipped a switch inside me. I don't know if it was my inner child. I don't know what all of that was, but it was basically, damn boy, you stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend money on yourself. This is not your wife. This is not your children. This is not, you're not doing it for somebody else. This is only about you. And what these guys will find, if they will reach down inside them, however they need to do, whatever they need to do, find the money, borrow the money, whatever it is, get the resources to hire you to turn that internal light on in them,
Yeah.
which is what you did for me. And I mean, I'm forever appreciative, forever
That's awesome.
appreciative.
That's awesome. It's like we were talking about the other day. There's just something magical that happens when you put money, money's currency, right? It's
Absolutely.
it's in current, it's got an electrical charge, and something happens when you put money of any amount into an initiative or an intention, something just shifts. And it's never not been that way. And so we saw you really take off. So I love it.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, and the coaching that you do, the encouragement that you do, and the places that you take and I can't speak for everyone, but the place that you took me from 60 days ago till today, I mean, the coaching's worth 100 grand. The coaching's worth $1 million because you can't, it's almost impossible to explain to someone the internal growth that happens and what that's worth. It's like compound interest. I mean, what
Yeah.
is it worth? And go invest $1,000 and leave it in there for 30 years. What's that now worth? It's
Yeah.
worth, $150,000. So take the money, guys. It's not about the money. It's not about the money.
Hmm.
Invest in yourself. Invest in this guy's coaching because he knows what he's talking
Yeah.
about.
There was some there was some really beautiful spiritual work we did with you too, cutting you off from generational stuff and the sins of the father, so to speak, and some forgiveness. And it's not just a pep talk, right? It's
No,
right.
no,
It's kind of
it's
this.
it's 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 real, man. Uh, as you know, I mean, this. I had a very deep father wound,
Mhm.
very deep. My father was emotionally devoid at times. My father was really, really strict, and one of the beautiful things that have come out of this is I've forgiven him completely and totally. I don't carry that with me anymore. As a matter of fact, I was back at home. My mother's 89 years old and rocking and rolling, but we went through a bunch of dad stuff that I'd never been willing to do before. And I got a set of his Navy dog tags,
Wow.
and I proudly wear them now. Uh,
That's incredible.
I carry him with me now.
That's incredible. Larry, I mean, the amount every man I speak to has a father wound and didn't get their father's blessing. And many
Right?
of them, their fathers are gone. I didn't get my father's blessing, and
Absolutely.
he's not on the planet anymore. And to be able to receive that from other men and then get to a point where you can receive it for yourself, it's just that state of masculinity that that these guys are wounded with.
It's huge. And here's the other thing that peripherally that has done for me. Um, as these guys do the work, you'll find out that a lot of guys, especially who have a father wound, they don't trust the father.
Mm-hmm.
That starts with the earthly father, and it literally translates to the heavenly father. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, if I can't trust this guy here on earth, how can I trust this ethereal being?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that. Wow. I promised myself I wouldn't get emotional on this, but
And you
that was
learned that
that.
emotions are good. Emotions are okay.
Yeah,
Your heart stayed
emotions are
open.
healing, man.
Yeah.
Emotions are healing.
Yeah. You got a big heart. And I think I told you the other
Uh,
day, you got a wonderful big brother, father energy to you that is very healing, and that men need.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have, as you say, sometimes I got a big old battery, Robin. I got a big old battery,
Yeah, you do. I love it. Well,
and
thank you.
unfortunately, I've allowed that big old battery to be used by people that didn't deserve it,
Yeah,
and so now I use it for God. I use it for me, and I
that's
use it for
right.
my
We
family, and I use
we
it for
did
my
work
community.
on that, about you're a massive battery source and you need to protect it.
Absolutely.
I didn't recall that. Yeah, you're right. And we found your superpower. When you were a kid, you were like, I'm great. And you were like Larry the Great.
Yeah.
Larry
Yeah,
the Great.
that was mostly ego and conceit. Uh,
Yeah.
but it was a seed that was in me. I mean, I don't deny that. Uh, that got covered up with the bullshit of life, and I've refound that, and my greatness is not about me. It's not me. It's God working through me. It's it's uh it's the blessings of God. I don't know how else to put that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're connected to that now.
Oh,
Forever.
absolutely.
You actually always were connected to it, but now you don't have
Right.
programming blocking it. It's the interference of the programming, right?
Absolutely.
So I
So
love.
yeah, I mean, I can't encourage you guys enough, to hire Robin, do the work, and you know, Robin and I have talked about this a few times. People, the way the society has conditioned us, we got to go to therapy for years to deal with this stuff. No, guys, no, no.
Mhm.
That's another lie that society's told you. You can do this in 30 to 60 days,
Yeah.
and launch your own limitless. Uh, and as Robin told me the very first time I talked to him, he said, in 60 days you won't recognize yourself. In a year, you'll look back and wonder why you wasted so much of your life worrying about that stuff. Just go forward. Don't worry about it. Go forward. Always move forward. And
Mhm.
so once again, I can't encourage you guys enough to take the time, hire this guy, do the work, and you won't
Brother,
recognize yourself in 60 days.
thank you. What an honor. You just got such a powerful story. I mean, it was like it's like watching a balloon that's held. All you gotta do is, right? Like it's born to
Yeah,
fly.
absolutely.
It's when the human spirit, the human body is built for health, the human spirit is built for connection, and sometimes we just need to move off all the stuff that blocks us, and the ship just gets righted. right? It's immediately that happened with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, you call your course self-sabotage. I mean, for lack of a better term, I would call that the same, but it's so much bigger than that. I mean, you know, it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah. We
It's
call it work, but it's really an uncovering, it's
yeah,
just uncovering of the shame and the beliefs and the ideas. And it's surgical.
yeah, and I mean, you have an intuitive gift to help men with that. I told my daughter this the other day, and she really loved this term. What I called it is remembering. Uh, Literally, you remember who you are, and you won't allow that shit back in your life anymore.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Remember that
This is,
you're a badass. You're a beast.
yeah. But what an honor.
Do it for the world, man. Do it for yourself, but do it for the world. The world needs real men worse than it ever has in the history of this world. It needs men that are willing to step up for themselves, for their families, for their communities. So, guys, take it to heart. Do the work.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this, brother. I appreciate this. Is, people watch this that have maybe had some type of interaction with me online, and I'm very stern. I come at people with love, but with strength. And many people take that challenge, and if they're watching this, by the time they've already said yes to a conversation, and they're in that space of, all right,
Sure.
I'm about to have this conversation with this guy. Should I have this or should I not? And some people don't show up for the call, and that's sad, because they're not showing up
Sure.
for themselves.
It is.
They're breaking agreements. And maybe if they see this, they can see people of different age, of different backgrounds, and be like, okay, I need something. I can relate to it. And so whether they work with me or not, I always tell people, is really secondary. Let's at least get you a roadmap to some type of construction for yourself, to, a roadmap to you can awaken to that. And if
Right.
we work together, great. I tell people 95% of what I do is completely free. So,
Okay.
you know,
What is it? No matter the cost, it doesn't matter. They need to find the money to do this work.
yeah, 100%. 100%. Well, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. People need
Absolutely. You know, I love you, dude.
testimony. I love it.